flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, what do I have to sign?
No, this is the public hearing for the,
Is that script?
just that first paragraph. So an ordinance concerning the construction of additions, extensions, and improvements to the waterworks to the town of St. Joe, Indiana. The issuance of reverence bonds to provide the costs thereof, the collection, segregation, and distribution of the revenues of said waterworks, the safeguarding of interests of the owners of the said bonds, other matters connected therewithin, including the issuance of notes in anticipation of bonds and repealing ordinances inconsistent herewithin. And the ordinance for amending the rates and charges for the use of and services rendered by the waterworks system of the town of St. Joe, Indiana. Does anyone have comments?
I'll just offer up, Dennis on was here last month, close with Kenny Evans, and happy to answer any questions, but we presented these ordinances. Introduced them at the meeting last night, the notice has been published, mailed, and so happy to answer any questions, but we're kind of on track with our schedule to discuss. Ken, anything to add?
Also happy to, do you want me to do a little summary of the project and the rates?
Yeah, there's some people that want to, so, yeah, thank you.
Kimberly Savick, with Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors, working with the town of St. Joe. Last month, we were here to present our rate study, which was looking at this proposed project and how that's going to affect the rates going forward. So I'll just give a brief overview, and then if you have questions, just let me know. So the project is for some pipe replacement and water main looping. Bids for the project came in at about just over $1 million, which was actually lower than expected. So that the construction costs, we have contingency and some non-construction costs that are typical with projects as these. So that brings the total project cost to $1.7 million. The town had an Oprah grant of $750,000, so that won't have to be repaid. We received that grant, and then also applying some cash from different funds to the project. So the total bonded amount is $657,000. Get some details on that. So that bond of $657,000 is going to be over 35 years at 4.48% interest, which is through the Indiana SRF program. So very good interest rates for the state and time. And with that bond, that's adding about $38,000, actually $38,600 annually that the utility will need to repay over the 35 years. So when we look at that and kind of see how it's going to affect rates, there are really 4 categories of things that we're looking at. The first being the normal operating disbursement of the water utility itself. So we're looking at $111,000. That number comes from actual 2025 numbers and then some inflation and things to kind of get us to a 2028 estimate. So $111,000. Then we look at the debt that I just discussed, $38,600. The third component is a requirement of SRF for a debt service reserve fund. So they require you to kind of build up a savings account over 5 years. So that's another $7,000 per year. And then the last category is just an allowance for the utility to continue doing normal capital improvements outside of the project. So we built in $8,500 just based on an average for that. So we take those 4 categories, which puts us at about $166,000 that the utility needs per year just to kind of get by and do this project. We reduced that by a little bit of interest income and we're at $163,000. Compare that to the current receipt based on current rates, which is $84,000. So a difference of about $78,000 per year is needed. Percentage-wise, that comes out to 93%. So what we've looked at is the current rates, which are made up of 2 things: the regular rate of $31 and then a fire hydrant rate of $5. So currently $36 per month, flat rate for everyone. And with the 93% increase, that's looking at a rate of $69.50 total. What we've done is look at how we can kind of spread that out and kind of reduce the impact over time. So we've proposed 3 phases that are in the rate ordinance. The first one would be effective July 1st, and that would increase the total monthly rate to $47.15. And then January 1, 2027, we'd be at $58, and then January 1st, 2028, we'd be at $69.50.
Tim, I have a question. I just might be helpful for the audience. You guys know what the proposed interest rate is for that start on a loan, and is it a 35-year amortization on this?
It is over 35 years. I think it's 4.4%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Was that 35 or 30 years?
Officer.
Over again, where the money came from, the town had roughly 600,
Yeah, let me get some
And-
details.
the bond was for 600.
750.
So
I mean, the
where
money.
did that difference come from the 1.7 then?
So here, I didn't do a full breakdown. So total cost, yes, 1.7 million for the full project. They have an Oprah grant of 750,000 that won't need to be repaid. And then the town is applying some ARPA funds that they have, about 217,000. And then some money from the water fund, the general fund, and the economic development fund. So that was kind of the difference. And then the remaining amount, the bonded amount, was 657,000.
Thank you.
Can you speak a little bit on the 3 phases of how it was decided over that?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 2.5-year span, correct?
Correct. Yep. Let me get to, Okay, so when it comes to the phasing, we did what we look at, what we call like a cash flow analysis of each of the following years, 2026, 27, and 28. And what we really have to look at is by the end of project completion, so sometime in 2028, SRF, who is funding this bond, they're going to require 125% bond coverage. So that's saying for every dollar of debt, they want you to bring in $1.25 in revenues. So we really just run the cash flows and kind of spread it out as far as we can. And that's where we did the phases, where it's increasing approximately $11 each phase.
You said that coverage, you mentioned SRF 1.25. That's industry standard, right? So, and I just think, the option of your financing, and mentioning SRF program, the state subsidized program for water. So you get federal dollars, they can kind of mix in and help get you a lower interest rate. If the town were to go out and look at a bank for financing this, they're going to look for at least that same amount of coverage. And the other option is rural development, same thing. But you're not going to get as long of a term with good interest rates. Funding package wise, it's probably the best we found.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
Do you guys have anything to add?
I don't have anything to add to this.
Randy?
No, it's just something, we have to do. It wasn't completed with the first phase back in 2000, so we have to get things updated. Great. I will be looking a little more into the construction of it, because the more I'm looking at it and with Corey working on everything, we need to make sure to have a tracer wire in them or something that's going to be where we can do our 811 without any problem, like we did on the first. That's about the only thing.
Nobody else has anything?
I got something. So with the increase with the project, is that what's gonna be tacked onto the water bill increase? Yeah, okay. I got this.
Well, make a motion that we run this meeting.
Second motion.
David?
Aye.
Okay, hold on for a second.
Thank you again very much. Doing all the work.
Lee, I just want to make sure we've got a motion to adopt the ordinance, but I think that's what.
That's next.
That's the next meeting.
That's the start of our next meeting. So if you want to set here.